All right, so today we're diving into what it takes to land a job as a technical sales representative in the chemical products industry.
And we've got some great resources from RoleCatcher to help us with this.
Definitely a cool mix of science and sales
Mm.
in this role, right?
Absolutely. It's like you need that deep technical knowledge, but you also need to be able to communicate it effectively and persuasively.
Which is where I think those interview questions can really trip people up.
Yeah, for sure. Because how do you explain something complex like a chemical process to someone who might not have a scientific background?
That's a good point. And that actually leads perfectly into one of the common interview questions RoleCatcher highlighted.
Oh, yeah. What's that one?
So picture this. You're sitting across from the hiring manager, and they ask you, can you explain a complex chemical process or product to a non-technical customer?
Oh, that's a tough one, right? Because you can't just launch into a bunch of jargon and expect them to follow.
Right, exactly. It's all
Yeah.
about making it relatable and understandable, even if they don't have a chemistry degree.
So I guess analogies would be really helpful here, right?
Absolutely. Like, I always think of analogies as bridges that connect the unfamiliar to the familiar.
That's a good way to put it. So if you're explaining, say, a catalyst, you could compare it to something like a matchmaker.
Yeah, like the matchmaker brings two people together, but they don't actually become part of the couple themselves.
I like that. And I think using visuals, if possible, can also really help.
Especially if you can sketch something out quickly, or if you're doing a virtual interview, maybe you have a slide prepared with a simple diagram.
Right. The key is to keep it clear and concise and avoid overwhelming them with too much detail.
And another question that often comes up in these interviews is, can you tell us about your experience in technical sales?
Ah, yes. This is your time to shine, to really showcase your skills and accomplishments.
But I think it's easy to fall into the trap of just listing off your previous job titles and responsibilities.
Absolutely. You want to go deeper than that. Think about specific situations where you successfully used your technical knowledge to close a deal or solve a customer's problem.
And don't forget the numbers whenever possible. Quantify your achievements.
Right. Instead of just saying, I increased sales, say something like, I increased sales by 15% in 1 year.
Numbers really grab attention, and they make your accomplishments more concrete.
They also show that you're results-oriented and you can back up your claims with data.
Now, switching gears a bit, let's talk about staying current in such a rapidly evolving industry.
Yes, that's crucial in any technical field, but especially in chemical sales where new technologies and advancements are constantly emerging.
So how do you answer the question? How do you stay up to date on industry trends and advancements?
Well, definitely wouldn't just say I read articles online. You want to be more specific than that.
Right, name drop some industry publications, professional associations, conferences you've attended.
And maybe even mention a podcast you follow for industry insights.
Oh, very subtle.
But seriously, you want to show that you're actively engaged in the field and you're not just passively consuming information.
I think it's also good to mention one or two recent developments that have particularly caught your eye and explain why they're significant to you.
Yes, that demonstrates that you're not just reading headlines, you're actually thinking critically about the implications of these advancements.
Okay, now for the question everyone dreads. How do you handle difficult customers or situations?
Ah, yes, the dreaded behavioral question, everyone's favorite.
But it's so important because, let's face it, you're going to encounter some challenging customers in any sales role.
Absolutely, it's inevitable. So the interviewer wants to know that you can handle those situations with grace and professionalism.
So how do you approach this question without sounding too rehearsed or robotic?
The key is to tell a real story about a time you faced a difficult customer and how you successfully resolved the situation.
And be specific. Don't just say, I stayed calm and professional.
All right, walk them through the steps you took.
Yeah.
Maybe you actively listened to their concerns, empathized with their frustration, and then worked collaboratively to find a solution.
I think it's also helpful to highlight any lessons you learned from that experience.
Absolutely. It shows that you're self-aware and you're always striving to improve your customer service skills.
Let's talk about time management, which is essential in any sales role, but especially when you're juggling multiple clients and projects.
Absolutely. So how would you answer the question? How do you prioritize your sales activities and manage your time effectively?
Well, first of all, I think it's important to be honest. If you're a list person, say you're a list person, if you live and die by your calendar share.
Right. The interviewer isn't necessarily looking for a specific method. They just want to see that you have a system that works for you.
And that you're organized and efficient.
And adaptable, because sometimes unexpected things come up and you need to be able to adjust your priorities on the fly.
Exactly. So maybe give an example of a time when you had to reprioritize your tasks due to a last-minute request or a change in deadlines.
Yes, it shows that you can handle pressure
Yeah.
and you're able to think on your feet.
Now, building long-term relationships with customers is crucial for repeat business and referrals.
Absolutely. It's not just about making a one-time sale. It's about fostering those connections and becoming a trusted advisor.
So how would you answer the question, how do you build and maintain relationships with customers?
I think it goes beyond just regular check-ins and email updates. It's about those personal touches that make the customer feel valued.
Like remembering their birthday or sending them an article that you think they'd find interesting?
Exactly, or maybe you help them solve a problem that was outside of your usual scope of work.
Those little things can go a long way in building trust and loyalty.
And they show that you're invested in their success, not just your own commission.
Now, we've talked about managing existing clients, but what about finding new ones?
Ah, yes, the art of prospecting, always a hot topic in sales.
So how would you approach the question? How do you identify new sales opportunities?
Well, I think it's a combination of research, networking, and a bit of intuition.
Right, you might analyze industry trends, attend trade shows, or even just strike up conversations with people at networking events.
And don't underestimate the power of social media, especially LinkedIn.
Yes, LinkedIn can be a goldmine for connecting with potential clients and staying informed about what's happening in your industry.
The key is to be proactive and always be on the lookout for new opportunities.
So it's about having that entrepreneurial spirit and being able to spot potential where others might not.
Exactly, and I think that's something that really resonates with hiring managers.
Now let's talk about the heart of sales, the pitch.
Ah, yes. The moment of truth when you put all your skills and knowledge to the test.
So how would you answer the question? Can you give us an example of a successful sales pitch you've delivered?
I would choose a pitch that was particularly challenging or memorable. Maybe it was a new product that was difficult to explain, or a client who was initially hesitant to buy.
Right, you want to showcase your ability to overcome objections and tailor your message to the specific audience.
And I think it's helpful to walk them through your strategy step by step.
Like, how did you build rapport? How did you identify their needs? How did you address their concerns?
And don't forget to highlight the outcome. Did you close the deal? Did you exceed your quota? Did you win an award?
It's all about showcasing your successes and demonstrating your ability to deliver results.
Now, speaking of adapting your approach, how would you answer the question? How do you adapt your sales approach to different customers or industries?
Well, I think it's about recognizing that one size doesn't fit all.
Right. You wouldn't pitch a seasoned executive the same way you would pitch a startup founder.
Exactly. So you need to do your research,
Yeah.
understand your client's needs, and tailor your communication style accordingly.
Maybe give some contrasting examples of how you've modified your approach in the past.
Right, like a time when you had to be very technical and data-driven versus a time when you had to focus more on building relationships and establishing trust.
The key is to show that you're flexible and adaptable, and you can connect with a wide range of personalities and communication styles.
Now, for a question that can be tough to answer gracefully, how do you handle rejection or a lost sale?
Ah, yes. No one likes to talk about rejection, but it's an inevitable part of sales.
And the interviewer knows that what they're really asking is, how do you bounce back from setbacks?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So instead of dwelling on the negative, focus on what you learned from the experience.
Did you analyze what went wrong? Did you seek feedback from your manager or the client themselves?
And did you use that feedback to improve your future pitches?
It's all about showing that you're resilient and you're always striving to learn and grow.
And that you don't let rejection define you.
Now, before we move on to some more of those insightful career tips from RoleCatcher, let's talk for a minute about their AI tools.
Yes, those are really impressive how they can help you tailor your answers and get feedback.
You mentioned earlier how they can analyze job descriptions and help you craft a resume that's laser-focused on the specific skills and experiences they're looking for.
Exactly. It's called the RoleCatcher CV Resume Builder. And it's like having a personal resume writer who knows exactly what those hiring managers want to see.
That's so helpful, especially when you're trying to stand out in a crowded field.
Absolutely. And then there's this AI feedback tool that can actually analyze your practice interview answers and give you targeted tips for improvement.
So it's like having a virtual interview coach right in your pocket.
Exactly. It can point out things like if you're using too many filler words or if you're not quantifying your achievements enough.
Wow, that's amazing. It's like having a secret weapon to help you nail those tough questions.
And the best part is this technology is constantly evolving and getting even more sophisticated.
Well, I'm definitely intrigued. We'll have to dive deeper into those tools later on, but for now, let's shift gears and explore some of those career insights that RoleCatcher has to offer. I'm eager to hear what they have to say about launching and growing a career in this exciting field.
Me too. Let's jump right in. Welcome back. So now let's shift gears and talk about actually launching your career in this field. You've aced the interview, you've got the job offer, congrats. Now,
That's a great question because getting your foot in the door is just the first step.
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's where RoleCatcher's career guide comes in handy. They really emphasize the importance of hands-on experience, especially early on.
So are we talking internships, entry-level positions, that kind of thing?
Exactly. It's all about building that foundation.
Yeah.
Getting exposure to the industry, the products, the actual sales process.
I see. So it might not be glamorous at first, but you're soaking up all that valuable knowledge.
Precisely. And as you gain experience, you can start thinking about specialization.
Oh, yeah. I remember RoleCatcher mentioned that. Can you elaborate on what they mean by that?
Sure. So as you progress in your career, you might consider focusing on a specific area within chemical sales.
So finding your niche.
Exactly. It could be a particular product line, a specific industry you're passionate about, or even a technical skill set that you want to really master.
So like becoming the go-to expert for, say, sustainable chemical products.
That's a great example.
Yeah.
It makes you a more valuable asset to employers, and it can open up some really interesting career paths.
It's like you're not just climbing the ladder. You're carving out your own unique path.
I like that analogy. Now, another key aspect that RoleCatcher highlights is networking.
Ah, yes. Networking can't escape that word in any career advice, can we?
It's true, but it's especially important in sales because building relationships is everything.
So attend industry events, join professional organizations, connect with people on LinkedIn, right?
Exactly. It's all about building those connections and staying informed about what's happening in the industry.
But it's not just about collecting business cards, right?
You want to build genuine relationships. Be curious. Ask questions. Share your own insights.
And those connections can really pay off down the road.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of things that can pay off, remember those AI-powered tools we talked about earlier?
Oh, yeah, from RoleCatcher.
They can actually help with networking, too.
Really?
Yeah.
How so?
Well, remember the CV resume builder that can tailor your resume to specific job roles?
Yeah, it's like having a personal resume writer who knows exactly what hiring managers are looking for.
Well, RoleCatcher also has a feature where you can import, organize, and optimize your contacts.
So it helps you manage your professional network.
Exactly. And it can even suggest people you should connect with based on your career goals and the companies you're interested in.
Wow, that's really smart. It takes the guesswork out of networking.
Exactly. Okay, so let's say you've been in the field for a while. You've built up some experience. You've got a solid network. Now, what are some strategies for career advancement?
Yeah, how do you actually climb that ladder?
Well, RoleCatcher suggests a few different paths. One option is to move into a management or leadership position within the sales team.
So leading and mentoring other sales reps.
Exactly. If you enjoy coaching and developing others, that could be a great fit.
Makes sense. What other paths are there?
Another option is to transition into a more specialized technical role, leveraging your expertise in a particular area.
So you could either go up the managerial ladder or dive deeper into the technical side of things.
Precisely. And of course, there's always the possibility of moving to a larger company or a different region. If you're looking for new challenges or a change of scenery.
It's like you have all these different options depending on your interests and ambitions.
Exactly. But no matter which path you choose, one thing remains constant. You need to be continuously learning.
Ah, yes. The importance of staying ahead of the curve in such a dynamic industry.
Exactly. The chemical industry is constantly evolving, so it's essential to keep up with new technologies and advancements.
So attend industry conferences, take relevant courses, read publications, engage in online forums.
Exactly. It's all about investing in your professional development.
Now, as you gain more experience, it's also important to showcase your accomplishments, right?
Absolutely. How do you demonstrate your capabilities to potential employers or even to your current employer if you're looking for a promotion?
Yeah, what's the best way to do that?
RoleCatcher suggests creating a portfolio that highlights your successful sales campaigns or projects.
Oh, interesting. Like a visual representation of your skills and achievements.
Precisely. It could include case studies, presentations, testimonials from satisfied clients.
So it's like a tangible way to show what you've accomplished and the impact you've made.
Exactly. It's a powerful tool for telling your career story.
Now, before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, let's circle back to those AI-powered tools from RoleCatcher one more time.
Sure. We've talked about how they can help with resume writing, networking, and interview prep, but can they also assist with career advancement?
That's a great question.
The answer is yes, absolutely. They can help you continuously refine your interview skills, which is essential for moving up within a company or landing more senior roles.
Because those interview skills never really go away, do they?
Not at all. And on top of that, RoleCatcher has this incredible feature called Career Compass.
Career compass. Tell me more about that.
It's like a personalized career guidance system. You input your skills, experience, and career aspirations, and the AI analyzes your profile and suggests potential career paths, relevant job openings, and even skills you might need to develop to reach your goals.
It's like having a personalized career advisor right in your pocket.
Exactly. And it can be incredibly helpful for navigating the complexities of the job market and making informed decisions about your career trajectory.
Well, this has been incredibly insightful. It sounds like RoleCatcher truly offers a comprehensive suite of tools to help us not only land that first job, but also build a successful and fulfilling career in the chemical products industry.
I agree. It's an invaluable resource for anyone looking to break into or advance in this exciting field.
All right, welcome back. It's time to wrap up our deep dive into the world of technical sales representatives in the chemical products industry.
And I have to say, I've learned a lot. Even I've picked up some new insights and tips from RoleCatcher's resources.
Me too. It's amazing how much they offer to help people not just land that first job, but really build a successful career in this field.
Absolutely. So before we sign off, let's distill some key takeaways for our listeners. What are some of the most important things you want them to remember?
Well, first and foremost, I think it's crucial to remember that this role is a unique blend of scientific expertise and salesmanship.
Yes. You're not just selling a product, you're providing solutions that leverage your deep understanding of chemistry.
So it's about being a problem solver, a consultant, and a persuasive communicator all rolled into one.
Precisely. And in this industry, continuous learning is not just a nice to have, it's a necessity.
Right, because the chemical landscape is constantly evolving, so staying ahead of the curve is crucial.
Exactly. Which is why resources like RoleCatcher's career guides and industry insights are so valuable.
They can really help you stay on top of those trends and make sure you're not falling behind.
And don't forget about networking. Those connections can open doors you never even knew existed.
It's all about building those relationships and staying engaged with the community.
Absolutely. Now, let's revisit those AI-powered tools from RoleCatcher one last time.
Yeah, those really blew my mind.
I know, right? They're truly game changers. Their CV resume builder and AI feedback tool can help you tailor your application materials and practice your answers, so you come across as polished and prepared.
And then there's that career compass feature, which is like having a personal career advisor right in your pocket.
It's incredible how technology is transforming the way we approach our careers.
So for those already working in the field, what are some key takeaways for career advancement?
Well, specialization is key. Find your niche, become an expert in a particular area, and watch your value to employers soar.
Makes sense. And of course, never stop learning.
The moment you become complacent is the moment you start falling behind. So keep challenging yourself, keep expanding your knowledge and skills.
And as you progress, think about building a portfolio that showcases your accomplishments and the impact you've made.
It's a powerful way to tell your career story and demonstrate your value to potential employers.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground today, but I want to leave our listeners with one final thought. As you go into that interview or as you navigate your career path, remember to connect your personal story to the chemical products industry.
Yes. What unique experiences or perspectives can you bring to the table? What makes you passionate about this field? Let that shine through.
Because at the end of the day, it's not just about technical skills and industry knowledge. It's about who you are and what drives you.
Absolutely. So go out there, embrace the challenge, and make your mark on the world of chemical products.
And remember, RoleCatcher is there to support you every step of the way.
This has been an insightful deep dive.
Thanks for joining us.